Okay, guys, you are welcome to the Children and the Media podcast. I should get a child to scream this podcast part excitedly. Like, I have the vision in my head, and I have a plan that soon it will work out really, really well because maybe something about the scream of a child is going to make it all make sense. But guys, thank you so much we just hit 60 subscribers on YouTube. I am deeply grateful. And yeah, there have been tons of comments, people reaching out to talk about how great the podcast is. And see, it means a lot to me. I always say this more than imagine 60 people in a room listening actively to you and just telling you, like, oh, this was good. And that's how it feels. And I don't take it for granted. So I'm saying thank you. Okay, guys. So I've been away for good reason. I know this podcast is a bi weekly podcast, and rightfully so. But this month, for the entirety of this month, I have been volunteering at a kids' summer camp for creativity, fun, a lot of learning. It has been truly rewarding, a great joy of my life, and privilege to do so, if I might add. But it has been busy with like a lot of things, and that is the reason why I am just getting to record the podcast like in the time that I have, because the summer is winding down. So I might have to bid farewell to the kids I love the most. Okay, drama queen much. But yes, guys, it is. I'm truly, guys, because you people are my buddies. Like, we're friends, okay? Okay, friends. So, in episode 7, we started the screen time conversation. And let me just say that since I started this podcast, in fact, even before I started the podcast, every time I mention the kind of research I do, like, oh, I had a research on the influence of social media on parent-child relationships in Enugu Metro, and anytime I just talk about my passion and the work I do, the first question all the parents ask me is, how do I get my child to stop using a screen? How do I this? How do we cut off cold turkey? How do we wean him off? How do we tons of screen time questions? And I started the last episode just diving in, and I am hoping that this episode, being a deeper dive, will just explore a lot about the screen time conversation. So let's get into it. We had like a whole what's a screen time conversation, and it's basically any time spent using a screen. Like, it's not that hard. Adults have screen time. Old people seeing that they're always on Facebook, no shade. They're always on screen times as well, or they always amass screen time as well. And it's important to now categorize screen time. So, like, the types of screen time, most people will tell you that there are four broad categories of screen time. One is passive screen time, like you're watching TV, watching a YouTube video, watching a movie. It's screen time, but you might not really take into cognizance that it's screen time because, it's a hobby, you're doing it for leisure, you're doing it to learn, but it's still screen time. Number two is interactive screen time. So, let's just say playing games or drawing on your tablet, or just, I don't know, maybe work or something, just like a fun time with your screen. But I'd like to mostly say playing games, because I know that I had like a whole Candy Crush era. Candy Crush people say hi. But like, yeah, that's interactive screen time. So it's like a lot of back and forth, a lot of interaction. Then there's educational screen time. Right now, I don't know that you can be at any level of education and not be amassing screen time, bro. Like, and as somebody who tries to wean herself off screens, it gets very draining. Like, they've taken work, academics, everything is on Slack, Teams, Google Workspace, WhatsApp, like, name it. I cannot but open my phone and my laptop. Like, it is insane. But here we are. Educational screen time for learning to read ebooks. Have you seen the cost of like paperbacks and hard copy books? So definitely, I mean, some people's screen time is genuinely because they are reading. Some people are schooling online. I mean, if your entire education is online, it makes a lot of sense that you are chronically online and amassing screen time. Or you're doing research like me. So number 4 is social screen time. FaceTime. Social screen time. FaceTime. Love it. FaceTime, social media, texting, even though it's so crazy that in this generation, people people are always with their phones, but they never reply your text on time. They will not see you. I don't know how we got here as a society, but who am I to judge? Okay, I just judged, but pretend that you don't hear me judge. Yeah, so I mean, screen time definitely is different things to different people, and that's why it mostly falls into just all the broad categories so that we're clear. Point 2, what does research say? You guys know I love evidence. I love that there are people who have made this their life's work. There are people who have done lots of studies, who have invested, donated, sought funding to carry out this type of research to make sure that we protect kids and we raise them the right way. So, I already talked about educational screen time. So, that already gives you a hint that screen time is not entirely bad or may not even be bad in the first place. So, let's hit it. What does the research say? So, reputable research, and because I'm Nigerian, I always like to get you know, research from researchers who are either based in the country or are in institutions in the country. There's a research from the University of Lagos that highlighted that kids with more than 3 hours of daily screen exposure had more sleep disturbances and attention problems. I mean, this is no news, but a university in Lagos, the University of Lagos, came up with this research. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends no screen time for kids under 18 months except video chatting. I believe it's a no brainer because this person is barely processing life. I have no idea why they should even be reading online or having their education online, but again, what do I know? So, yeah, the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends no screen time for kids under 18. For kids between 2 to 5, very limited screen time. I think it's like an hour a day or something. So that for those of them who are either homeschooling or preparing to go to like preschool, stuff like that, they can acclimatize or something. I don't know. Then for older kids, I mean, it's balanced. At that point, there's really not much you can do. But that's the recommendation of the reputable American Academy of Pediatrics. A study published in JAMA Pediatrics found that children who had more than 2 hours of recreational screen time daily showed poorer performance on language and thinking tests. Don't ask me. I am very sure that they did surveys to come up with this result. And you see, the thing with the attention on, I can personally attest as somebody who has had like 5 years plus of experience working with children. The children who constantly use screens definitely like have an attention problem. And as an adult as well, if you're being genuine, if you're being sincere, if you observe the way you use screen time, it's why we have like a general attention decline in society because everybody's used to seeing everything so fast. It's a time lapse, something that is a process of 7 hours, it's a time lapse video of 1 minute or so. The ability to, I'm going to find the words to say what I want to say. We no longer have the nuance to stretch ourselves, to stick with. The words are not coming, but you get the point. people no longer have the patience to read an entire caption. They'll just go straight to the comments and ask, what did the person say? What do you mean? So like there's an attention problem, and I truly think screen time is to blame. But that is not to say that all the screen time studies are evil. I mean, there are studies that show that children who begin to use educational screen time at an early age, there's something about it making them geniuses. Or that study, I didn't include it exactly with the name or the institution of researchers because I don't want to come under fire. But the idea is those people have research that proves that children who have like early tech exposure, I think it's better to phrase it as tech exposure, not just screen time. Children who have early tech exposure get very creative, build problem solving skills, and etc. So that's why I said screen time cannot be entirely bad. Aside that, there are other, stats and stuff like that for how screen time increases a lack of just body movement. Some people can't sit with their screens, and they tell this to remote workers as well. There's a rule of if your eyes have been on the screen for a certain amount of minutes, stand up, walk around, juggle your brain a bit, gain some balance, gain physical activity, and just so some of these things, even without researchers coming out to tell us that these are their findings, we know that it is what it is. It is what it is. So to measuring screen time, which is the thing that a lot of parents try to ask when I have this, or just adults generally, uncles, aunties, teachers, we're lucky that most devices already do that for us. But that's why I had the conversation about the broad types of screen time, because your TV is not going to tell you that you average 10 hours on YouTube every week. Because I don't know yet that there are TVs that do that. I believe that TVs should do that, like smart TVs. But I think they do. Maybe it's just mine that doesn't do it yet. But yeah, so some TVs have those tools, apps have those tools. But for those who, and I say this for people in Nigeria, not some people's TVs don't have that, or some people's other ways of amassing screen time, like their laptops, and especially when they're reading an ebook or working and it's like a downloaded PDF or something, you may never really be able to gauge. So the number one way to measure screen time is manual tracking. Set a timer. I started by 3. I went out 2 times and came back, and I finished by 8. You can do your plus or minus. You can find a way to make sure that you're able to track your screen time for yourself and, of course, for the kids. Okay, so the kids came back from school by 2. They started watching TV by 3, and they went to bed by 8, and they never left the TV. You're able to gauge how much screen time that they amassed then. The second way to measure your screen time is like inbuilt tools. Of course, my phone sends that to me. iOS, Android devices, smart TVs. Everybody just has a way of building their tech to tell you how much. Even the apps, they'll tell you use your WhatsApp for XYZ hours, you used your Instagram, you used your Snapchat. It just tells you. So the last one I was going to say apps, but I think I already said that. They give like detailed breakdowns. Maybe you were texting, you were calling, you were video calling, you were in meetings. See, my unpopular take as a corporate babe is that maybe we should get a screen time gauge for meetings, because while we in, okay, I know we know the time that we started and we can track it manually. But why do we start a meeting by 1 o'clock and it's 3 o'clock? It's heading to 4 and somebody's still asking questions. Stop. Can you not make it an email? Okay. Wrong place to rant. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I mean, even if you're in Nigeria where not everyone uses like fancy apps and stuff, everybody's phone, everybody's device should come with these things, or you track manually. the essence of finding out how much, you see, it would be like a joke. I remember the first time I started Game of Thrones, the series. For context, an episode of season 1 is an average of 1 hour. But most episodes were like 1 hour 10 minutes, 1 hour 17. Let's just say 1 hour for the purpose of this podcast. I watched season 1 in 1 day. So to give you context, there are 10 episodes in season 1. I spent at least 10, so plus the other minutes here and there. Let's just say that I spent 12 hours of my day, eyes glued to the laptop, watching a show. And maybe in my head, I didn't check WhatsApp, I didn't check Instagram, so I didn't really get screen time. But I did. My eyes were watching stuff on the laptop for 10 plus hours. That's a crazy, like, to be fair, I was in my youth. I'm still in my youth, please don't play. But like, I was in my binge watching in my entire life. I don't know that I have been watched anything like when I watched Game of Thrones. It was just for that season 1. After that day, like, I was knocked out for hours, and I knew by the time I woke up that this is not the not be this hand that go use watch season 2 to 7 at the time before season 8 came out. But my point is, it's very easy to deceive yourself that I don't really use, no, I'm not on. Your phone will give you 2 hours of screen time, you pat yourself on the back. If you're not measuring your screen time, and for your kids as well, you will never really know how the whole thing is going. So measuring it is a huge first step, which leads us to the next step. Very huge. Monitoring and setting boundaries. When I did my research in 2022 to 23 for my master's, part of my recommendations was monitoring and mediation. See, even as an adult, I know adults that use applications like Opal. Shout out to Opal, a tech friend of mine introduced me to that app and it works wonders. You need to find a way to set boundaries. You need to find a way to monitor these things for kids, because to an extent, kids don't actually know any better. So it is not just about policing them. Drop anytime you see them, drop the iPad, drop the phone. You can't scream your way into setting boundaries for children with screen time. You can't scream your way into it. You can't police your way into it. You have to take intentional steps. You have to teach more. You have to explain more. You have to set a few rules and stick with them. Because the thing with children is, children will push your boundaries. Somehow they don't really take you. As I'm saying this thing, it's so funny and it's crazy at the same time. It's as if when you tell kids some things, they don't think you're serious. So I feel like they play a game in their minds where they're like, let's push this, but let's see if this person is serious. And that's why sometimes they'll do something like multiple times to try and get like a reaction out of you. If you let it slide way too much, they're like, oh, okay, it's good. I mean, she's not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything. And this is why you must be very intentional about managing screen time with monitoring and setting boundaries. And let me just give you like a couple of ideas. My parents have tried these ideas, and that's why I can offer some of them. I also do some of these things personally, and I believe that these are things that you can extend to kids to set boundaries and just monitor their interaction with screens. No phones while eating or at the dining table. See, this is a trap that even adults fall into. But tell yourself that I will not rush my food and I will put the phone down. So for kids, maybe you can go to a place that doesn't have a TV. The issue now is that a lot of homes have TVs in their dining rooms, especially the way like a lot of Nigerian families are set up. I can't speak for people in other countries, but this is where you either have to disconnect that TV or take it out and maybe have, I saw something on Instagram, I think a family has like a basket where they put their phones in and they eat dinner and then everybody goes back to it. And you can try something like that. I think it works. But always try to create screen-free zones. Even for schools, maybe break time and stuff like that. Take everybody's gadgets. Even at summer camps, I hear that for a lot of camps, children submit their phones and their devices before they get into camp. Then maybe during break time or when it's time to go home so they can call their parents, they release it, or whatever screen time zones look like, please ensure to create that for kids. Two, set schedules. I mean, every parent or auntie, uncle, teacher, anybody who has worked with kids, especially like younger kids, knows that children like a scheduled life. It's easy to work with kids in a systematic way because there's a way you even operate the schedule. They are the ones that will begin to remind you, shouldn't we be doing this at this time? Shouldn't we go to bed by this time? Shouldn't we eat? But it's almost time for lunch. How come we have not? They can be tricky and remind you of only the ones that they like or the ones they want to wriggle in and out of. But the idea is when you set schedules, like, okay, when you get back from school, homework first, then a nap, then you wake up and watch TV, or you use the iPad and play games. Or so when you set it up in like a routine structure, I think it really works well for kids. The third one is just more about what monitoring and mediation is. Watch with them, play with them, be involved in their screen time. There's a popular Nigerian celebrity who had a video of her singing Bluey songs, and it was the cutest thing. And you just know that this is a person who makes out time to watch what her kid is watching. And I'm sure it takes a lot for all the parents. But see, it is even a great way to screen the kind of content. And in future episodes of the podcast, we'll be having conversations like that. But it's a great way to set the boundaries because when you guys are watching together, you turn off the TV and say, we are going to eat. They know that you were watching too, but now you guys are collectively going to do something else. Like it gives a leading by example vibe. It just helps you to also be more involved, to be able to control. No, I don't think you should watch that. So let's do this now. The benefits of monitoring and mediation cannot be overstated. That's like the best I can say. For some people, it even becomes a great time for bonding. So I have this core childhood memory. Maybe by the time I'm done with this podcast, you guys will know all my memories. But hey, way to go. So I have this core childhood memory of when my siblings and I watched Let It Shine. Shout out to Coco Jones and congratulations to the gorgeous woman. But yes, when we watched Let It Shine, Tyler Williams was on one with like the rap. And I've always been like a rap girly. My siblings and I, we love the music. We always love a good musical. So we were just all about the house, singing. My mom was not like, this one that all of you are rapping. Is there something in the water? We're like, no, we watched something nice. And she was like, oh, let me watch again with you guys. Because if you grew up in my era, and I feel so old for saying this shit. If you grew up in my era, you will know that musicals are never watched one off. Like the OG Disney movies and you don't just watch it one time and move on. How will you learn the song? It's not now that there's Apple Music or Spotify. Then you have to watch, pause if you had it on your laptop or on the screen as they are saying. You have to wait for, okay, they're going to view it Saturdays when Disney does originals. You have to be sure that you come back again so that you can watch and write the lyrics down. So she was like, okay, let her watch with us. And she watched with us. She had a good time. We bonded over it. And she was a little pissed when the pastor was judging Roxy at church. But that's by the way. The point is, watching with your kids is a great way to monitor them. It's a great way to, mediate their screen time. But it's a great way to bond. I'm giving you exquisite. If you're an uncle and you're an auntie or just a relative, you're looking, even a grandparent, and you're looking to secure quality bonding time, co-watch with your kids or play the games with them as well. Lead by example. Chuckles. I always say that kids will learn more from what you do than what you say. And For the adults listening to this, of course, because this podcast is for the adults, the grown-ups who care. I'm sure one of the canon events in your life as an adult is watching yourself do something that you either saw a parent, a relative, somebody do. You probably didn't even like that thing, but you just found yourself do it and you're surprised. Like, you're taken aback that you ever absorbed that enough to repeat it. And that's because they might have told you otherwise. You may know the right thing to do, but that's all you ever saw being done. And this thing I'm saying is so important because now there are adults who genuinely don't know any better because all that they saw wasn't so great. And it's the same thing for kids. You cannot take your children to a park to touch grass and you're on your phone the whole time. You can't seize their phones and they're coloring and you're on your own phone scrolling through TikTok and laughing. Like, as the uncle or the auntie, you can't give your phone, they'll be on your laptop or your iPad, or something has to give. You get, and they will learn more from what you're doing. And just some kids are very audacious, like they'll call you out, they'll challenge you, like, but auntie, you're also always on your phone, grandma, you're always laughing on your phone. And you have to explain, like, okay, no, it's a video call, so that's the whole idea. You need to lead by example if you're expecting better. So in Nigerian homes as well, this is a little shade, but hear me out. What if epileptic power supply is a blessing in disguise? I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm going to take it back, but hear me out before you stone me. When NEPA takes lights, nobody can charge their phone. Sorry. There's no TV, and even when families turn on their generator, some families turn it on for football or like a program and they keep it moving. Like, again, in the era I grew up in, families either used to watch Super Story or Diego and Paloma, all those Mexican, Philippine movies, and so most people had very limited screen time because you could be living in an area where there's no lights for 20 hours. The 4 hours is in the midnight between 12 a.m. and 4 a.m. So the only screen time you get is by the duration of the show. So they turn on the gen, you guys watch for like 2 hours. If you are following Z World, Saloni, Lali, after those 2 hours, they'll turn it off. You charge your phone now, but you have to be wise so that the battery will not die. Sorry, this is not even about me making incompetence a solution. By all means, I truly desire better for my country, but I'm just saying that maybe instead of looking for how to charge phone when there is no light, use it as an opportunity to play games, tell stories. I believe that every family, home and abroad, should have games, like game nights, game days, random, like word cards, charades, like there are card versions of charades, chess, like all these other things. They should be staples. Like, we cannot be looking to cut down screen time and we're not investing in offline activities. It's a no-brainer, basically. And to the big guns reducing screen time, I think with all the things I've shared, they give like a little insight on just how to reduce screen time. But here's the honest truth, and there was a mom that told me, should she cut it off cold turkey? Hey? For a child that has a whole iPad to themselves, like it is in her favorite color and everything, and let me not lie to you, right now in this generation, I don't even know that it's easy to completely exempt your child from technology or screens. And I also believe that if you do that, you will have a time for regrets, because the world is now is designed in a way that somehow there must be an interaction with technology. And that's why this podcast exists, to help you find the balance, to help you navigate through it all. So in reducing screen time, you need to start small. Baby steps. Maybe as you're going to church, purposely forget the iPad at home. As you're taking the person to school or for an outing, or you not say, my goodness, I forgot. Like, act so surprised. Hope the kids are not listening to this podcast. Act so shocked, and kids will be so distraught. So, in fact, after sometimes, well, we always forgetting, that auntie, she has been busy with work and baby steps. You guys, I'm sharing serious gems here, like serious, valuable tips. Start reducing small. TV, sometimes just disconnect a couple of things, make it hard to piece back. Take some casual out of the box steps. Please, this is not backed by research. I'm sharing just disclaimer. Hi. I'm sharing like things that I would do, because I know people who, so in the era of either DVDs or VHS, I have a friend who shared a hilarious VHS experience with me. That was when we used to have like all these shops where you can go and borrow CDs, exchange the ones you have. So CDs were coming out at the time, but VHS was still a thing. And the person told me how like his dad had disconnected everything and he went to borrow like a VHS to use. Then they took the lights and it was stuck. And for people who know well, when they bring the lights back, it's either replaced by itself, or the long and short, let me not bore you. The long and short is that they'll catch you. And that's how he learned how to, I think that's how he said he knew he would do engineering, because he had to think outside the box. He was able to dismantle the whole thing and bring out the cassettes and fix it back and everything, and he wasn't caught, and he was like, oh, maybe I should, and he picked his interest. That's not the gist. The gist now is that his father really went the extra mile, and to take huge determination. He was a teenager at this point, but I don't know that a 4-year-old or a 9-year-old will go through these rigorous steps to reconnect. They'll cry a bit, throw a little tantrum, complain that they are bored. I hear kids say it so much, and we have lost the art of allowing children to be bored. That's another serious take that I have. And even as adults as well, we have stolen that pleasure from ourselves. Your brain is constantly busy and engaged. As you're cooking, you're listening to a podcast. As you're walking, you're listening to this. As you're driving, you're in a meeting. As you're zero time to stay and be bored, or just to focus on one thing. You go to work, your brain never fully clocks out of work. But again, this podcast is for kids, so I'm not even going to go into that. But yes, find ways to gradually reduce screen time from 4 hours to 3 hours, from 3 hours to 2 hours. And I have a TikTok sound in my head, but this is a public podcast. This is not a private voice note to my friends. And I don't want to be judged harshly in the public eye. But yes, reduce as much as you can. 2, alternative activities. I will highly recommend sports. There's a way a child will play and be dead tired, like crazy tired, probably nursing a little body pain, and they have no time to scroll on TikTok. Walk with me. Somebody who went to school in the morning and had to play football, Nigerian football, please, for context, and you have been going back and forth the field for how many minutes? Your uniform is soaked, you're tired. In fact, you even slept in the car. We got home and we had to carry you from the car to the bed, barely wake you for a bath so that you eat and sleep back, and automatically that person's screen time for that day is gone. So sporting activities, great for kids. Music, like find ways to integrate children into other activities that are screen free. Puzzles. A friend shared recently about how much her daughter loves puzzles, and I think it's so, Nothing builds your problem solving skills, brain agility, like all of that, like puzzles. Puzzles are so good. You finish this puzzle, scatter it and do it again. Engage children in other things, and that's why I love summer camps where they do everything else except use screens. Cooking, baking, dancing, singing, just anything else. Arts and crafts, making stuff. Find other ways. By the time you do these things, somebody who was using their screen as much as 6 hours, it will definitely reduce. 3, reward systems. I can't really speak much on this because I think that reward systems look differently for everyone. So as an adult, I have like a whole thing I do for myself. Maybe if my screen time is XYZ by the end of this week, I'll reward myself. I will not disclose the reward, but yeah, just find a way around it. Basically, it looks different for different people, and just spend family time, gist in the evening, read together. I love that reading is making a comeback. I love it so much. I love that for adults and for because you guys had me there for a minute. What do you mean readership is declining, baby? Yeah. Hey, love that reading is making a comeback because I'm seeing more sponsored ads on Instagram and everywhere for children's books. I'm seeing authors emerging. I'm seeing book clubs for adults, for children, for teenagers. Love it. I truly think reading is reading, my goodness, like I think reading is like at the top of my activities to take children off screen time. Read. Just keep buying great books for them to read. Like, so these are the things that you can use to reduce screen time. You might not eliminate it. Sorry to the person who wants to cut cold turkey. You should do that for like a tiny child, less than a year, less than 2 years. But as they get older, it gets harder. So find all these positive ways. And I already spoke about this, but I'm just going to throw it in there. As an adult, behave better with screens, bro. Because children are only going to pick up so much from you. You too, leave your phone and take a walk. Just use your watch to count your steps. Read a book or sleep. You are too grown to be running on 2 hours of sleep. Maybe you will not force children to have a nap. They will observe that you always have naps. I mean, as a nap girl, I can assure that my kids will have no problem emulating my nap lifestyle, because one thing I'm gonna do is take a nap. I'm just joking, but yeah, sleep. Maybe all the problems we're having with children and screen time is because they are watching everybody else around them use screens and they are wondering, so you can use it, why can't I? And you have not given any rational explanation. You're just saying keep it, it's not good for you. You listening to me, do better, okay? Then saying yes and no to children. I had to include this in like my ideas for the things to talk about in this episode, because I've realized that children with the googly eyes and the please can I have 5 minutes, I'll give you back your iPad. You have to be strong. It's a harsh world. You have to open your eye. Saying no does not mean that you're wicked. Saying no does not mean you don't love the child, or saying later. It just means that you love them enough to want to protect them and to set healthy boundaries. So let me just run you through better ways to say it, because I know that they have said no, but some of you are just going to tell a tiny 2-year-old no, and they're going to bawl their eyes out and you have no way to pacify them. So let's have it. First of all, try to explain. I know that we truly believe that children don't understand, but what if they do? Or what if by repeating our explanation, they will understand it one day? Try to explain. If you use your phone a lot, you might not be able to sleep well, and just find a way, really. I think explanation looks differently for different people. gamers, the child that wants to dance on TikTok, the one that wants to read more. While that is noble, you are a child. There's no pressure to be Einstein. Okay, maybe there is. But yeah, like, no matter how noble your reason for wanting to use your iPad till 10 is, yeah, 5, please sleep. Find great ways, emotionally intelligent ways, safe ways to communicate the reason why you are setting these boundaries and saying no. 2, offer better alternatives. Instead of watching XYZ show, let's play Ludo together. Let's play chess. Let's play. There's this game that's my new favorite, the one with the blocks, Jenga. Let's do something fun. Let's run around together. I'm always so inspired when I see moms who work out with their kids. I mean, she's just trying to lift weights, do a couple of jumping jacks, and you see the little ones there as well trying to emulate. It's such a sight to behold. I think it's one of the great things that you can do to say no. So when you say no politely, invite them to be a part of the fun thing you're doing that is screen free. Come, let's take a walk together. Let's play. You get the point now. Might I add, be consistent. I don't know if I said this at the beginning of the podcast, but children do a thing where they want to be sure that you're saying the truth, like you're not lying. So they'll know the line and they'll try to push it a couple of times. So it all falls on you. It behooves you to be firm, to be consistent, that no matter how much they push, the goalpost remains the same. And with time, they'll get with the program. It will be hard at first. With time, they'll get with the program. Love that we've made so much progress. I had like a little panic when I chose to merge the things I wanted to say in the episode I didn't record last 2 weeks and then this one. But I'm so glad that most of the things I wanted to get off my chest I have. Let's all take a sigh of relief. That was breathe out. Okay, please don't mind me. But yeah, continue to consult helpful resources. See, in this field, even among researchers, there's always emerging research. So if you're around kids, if you work with kids, if you have kids, if you love kids, consult helpful resources and sign kids up for as many offline activities as you can. Bible study. There's the one that they do at home like every time. For the Muslims, Islamia, like sign them up for every other thing that does not art class, sports club, chess class, cultural dance, stories by the moonlight with grandma and grandpa, neighborhood football, the one that boys use literally anything, because I mean the barrier for entry is small, so they can even use a soda bottle or something. Sign them up for anything that will take them away from screens. Let them genuinely have a fun childhood, have a good time, skip in the compound, roll tires around, play, live. Like, we truly need to tell children to live a little. You see some of them and they are talking about confidence, things like looking all pressured and tense. These guys need to live, and it is for us, the adults, to make the efforts to build an environment where they know that it's easy for them to live. I am truly grateful that we have had this conversation today, and I cannot wait for when we get to have guests on the podcast and just talk about stuff with other people, or maybe when we have like a live podcast, but they were also recording. And I'm just grateful that we're making it this far. I mean, look at us, episode 8. Thank you so much. To recap, because I've actually said a lot of things, so there's research that shows both the risk and the benefit of screen time. Not all screen time is the same, and not all is bad, not all is also good. Adults should also watch their step. Don't, if you do anyhow, if you behave anyhow, you might get an anyhow result. I was trying to translate the vernacular to English. For boundaries should be done with love and done in a way that children thrive through boundaries. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. I think by the next one we'll wrap this up. Yeah, 3 series. Okay, that's good. So by the next episode we'll wrap this up, and yeah, for sure. You know the drill. Follow us on social media. Social media. Social media. Okay, follow us on social media. You can even tag my personal page or something if you want to. Let's just all keep playing our role and doing our best to raise healthier, more balanced kids who are in touch with life and love, and yeah, just let's just keep doing the work as concerned adults. Thank you so much. You are listening to the Calm Podcast, the Children and Media Podcast, and I still remain your host, Christabel Nambi. See you in episode or at episode 9. Bye.